Let's switch gears now. Time for Great Day Law. Each month, we like to check in with our friend, attorney lawyer Twillie of LA Law, for some helpful legal advice.
Yes, Lawyer the Lawyer is here. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So, in a question that you recently got on Facebook Live, which that's when you can always look back. We give a lot of free legal advice through Facebook Live, but this was a stoplight. The person says, I was at a stoplight when a delivery truck rear-ended me. Ugh. Right before I got hit, I looked into the rearview mirror and I saw the delivery truck had his head down, and it looked like he was texting. He never slowed down or anything before hitting us. What should I do? That's scary.
Yeah. First thing you should do is definitely get an attorney involved, because commercial drivers are held to a different standard and a higher standard than just like a normal, passenger, normal licensee like us. So you'll want to do that, because they're, like I said, they're held to a higher standard. There are rules and regulations that they have to abide by that are heightened on a federal level than what we would have to do. So you want to do that. You'll want to see if they were on a handheld device. Sometimes these delivery drivers, they have handheld devices that they use to scan packages for work and so on and so forth. And so you're going to want to take a look into that. And an individual is not going to be able to necessarily get that information, but an attorney can get their hands on that information.
I was going to ask, because those are things that you could probably, we were just talking about FOIA. Are those things that you can request? Can you go through and ask for phone records or logs, or are those documents that you can request?
From private companies, you can request them, but they're not going to give them up. Right. So you would have to get that through litigation. Sometimes, in order to avoid litigation, they will work with an attorney to provide some of that information. But on your own, as an individual, you wouldn't.
Right. You can't just say, I saw somebody looking down, I'm assuming it's XYZ. That doesn't hold up. Yeah.
It's not going to hold up, but you're going to want to make sure you say that to the police. You're going to want to get the police involved. And so when the police come and ask for your side of the story, you're going to want to make sure that you tell them that.
In your statement.
Correct.
Okay.
So the reason you need an attorney also is you're dealing with a company.
Correct.
So it's a little bit different when you're dealing with a delivery company versus Joe Schmo hits you from behind.
Yeah, there are some differences. I like to look at them as pressure points, sort of.
Okay.
When you're dealing with an individual, it's pretty straightforward. You're talking to the insurance company's talking to their person. But when you're dealing with a company, there's an additional layer. And sometimes those companies will withhold information that they should probably give, but they don't. And so, and they work with insurance carriers. The insurance companies also know. So you have, at the end of the day, you have two major companies really trying to put the screws to you. So you have an insurance carrier that's kind of treating you poorly, and you have a large company that's also treating you poorly. So you'll want to get somebody on your side to help you out.
So obviously you made the distinction that this is apples and oranges from somebody who maybe has a CDL versus a regular license. So that's probably part of your first problem. But if I don't know what the injury is here, but if you're injured, if you have to go to the hospital, if you have ambulance fees, medical fees, all those kinds of things, those are also going to be separate from your damage to your car.
Correct. Those are going to be separate. And here's something a lot of people don't know. So if you're a commercial driver and you're distracted driving, the individual faces a fine of up to, I think it's $2,750. So it's a huge fine. But the company who hired that person is also looking at an $11,000 fine. So there are pressure points that you can use to get information, that you can use to make sure that your bills are getting taken care of appropriately, that your vehicle, and you may have experienced this in the past, is you want to get your vehicle fixed, but they're like, well, it's a brand new vehicle, but they want to put used parts on it, and so on and so forth. And so you just start to get the runaround. So when you have an attorney on your side, we can exert pressure to make sure that they don't cheap out on you.
And to make sure you get what you're entitled to.
Correct.
Absolutely.
Correct.
Right. Absolutely. Lawyer the Lawyer, you can get in touch with Lawyer Twillie. You can visit LALawCT.com. Also follow along on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok at Lawyer the Lawyer.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.